And of course, Sankhe, our Maharashtra State President. Ladies and gentlemen, I congratulate Sri Guru for producing this book. It may not make the mainstream media, which General Singh calls as prostitutes. But the fact is that everybody knows, and even NDTV is forced to make some remarks in their defense. And the rest of the media is rattled. Many of them ask me, who's next? And they are living in fear that we might turn our evil eye on them. And he's done a thorough research, and it's more than just NDTV. His website made a tremendous mark when the Augusta scandal came up, that helicopter scandal. And I quoted from it. And every speaker after that from Congress condemned it. They thought that this is some sinister organization bigger than the CIA and probably more intelligent than the CIA. And how did they get all these facts? How did they get all these details? So many things. And people ask me great details about how I came to know about this website. So he didn't have to do it, because I've seen how he lives in San Jose, California. He's got 37 patents. He's a software engineer with the top of the line. And so we have to compliment him that he has taken time to deal with Indian problems, and he will continue to do with it. Of course, all the other colleagues of mine have helped me in various ways. Jagdish, I can't move anywhere in India without Jagdish's okay. He knows my calendar, he knows my dates, he knows all the people I know, and all the people now don't even talk to me, they talk to him directly. So if you call him up on his phone, it's always engaged. Even I can't talk to him. So this kind of teamwork which is emerging is what we need. Now, media, why did we focus on media? Because media is duty bound to correctly state the nation's position, the state of the nation. They shouldn't unduly depress the citizen, they shouldn't unduly keep them in a fool's paradise. They must state the truth. They must verify their facts and publish it. But unfortunately, media has now become a tool of the vested interests in our country, particularly the mainstream media. And there's a kind of a cozy relationship between politicians and the media. And the media is ready to target the enemies of politicians who are their patrons. So NDTV was a classic example of not a real media, but a media which was a hired gun, as they say, to assassinate the character of people who were their patrons. And when we started looking at their numbers, then we came to know. Now, of course, we don't have to do very much, because the CBI as well as the Enforcement Directorate is fully on the job. It's only a matter of time when the premises of the NDTV will be sealed, and that will be the end of the NDTV. So therefore, it will be a success, but I think it will set a good example. Now, I would like to say that the most important thing is we have many problems, but we should not become part of that problem. We should try to be part of the solution. And the media's today main minus point is, in spite of the problems, they project things which out of proportion. Sometimes they don't verify facts, they tell lies. Once I had said in a speech in Banaras Hindu University that Ravan was a Brahmin. And even then, a Kshatriya killed him, and the whole entire Hindu community, including the Brahmins, they worship Rama. Not saying that he killed our fellow Brahmin or something like that. But the Times of India published it, saying that I said that Ravan was a Dalit and his behavior towards Sita was because he was a Dalit. Now imagine what reaction that would have caused. Fortunately, I know the law, so I sent them a notice for 10 crores and next day they published an apology and the matter ended. I'm not holding that against you that you were once upon a time part of Times of India. But I would say one thing, that what is the basis of our freedom? For many years people used to think the British taught us democracy. That's not true. We have had Panchayati system for long years, which then translated itself into the way in Ram Rajya consultations of the public always went on. Ram went to the extreme that even he listened to rumors of the people and acted on it. In fact, that's how Sita had to go to the forest. So this concept of consent, conversation is really in our culture. We say all religions lead to God. No other religion says that. In Hindu, except Hinduism, no other religion says that all religions lead to God. So we are today with a constitution which gives you fundamental rights. Now tomorrow I have to rush off to the airport, which I hope I can catch my flight, but I have to appear for the Ram temple. Now all the other parties are angry with me, saying that I've suddenly parachuted into the thing. But I have taken a different approach. All the other parties so far have been saying this is my property. The Muslims are saying this is our land by adverse possession. The Hindus are saying no, this land has always been ours. I'm the first petitioner why the Supreme Court is given so much importance. I said I have a fundamental right to worship and I'm being prevented from worshipping Lord Rama on his birth spot. And on that basis the writ petition has been filed. And that is the more important thing, our fundamental rights in the Constitution. Similarly, fundamental rights for free expression. You can say whatever you like, but it should be within reasonable restrictions. We didn't bring these reasonable restrictions. Originally, when the Constituent Assembly brought the fundamental rights, Sardar Patel was the chairman of the Fundamental Rights Committee, and Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee. And at that time, there were very few restrictions. The man who brought the restrictions that you cannot, you cannot say sedition, you cannot say azadi, that India will be divided. Who brought that amendment? Jawaharlal Nehru. When did he bring it? 1963. 16th amendment moved by Jawaharlal Nehru. The first amendment that was moved is that you can arrest people without giving reasons. That is the Maintenance of Internal Security Act, the Defence of India rules, all these where you can catch people without giving any reason, also was brought by Jawaharlal Nehru in the first amendment. So now if we apply Jawaharlal Nehru's principles, we are criticized by the Jawaharlal Nehru University. They at least should change the name of Jawaharlal Nehru University if they are serious about protesting. But at the same time, let me say, India is like, in a glass, you have water in it. It may be half full or half empty depending on how you look at it. If you are a pessimist, you will say it's half empty. If you are an optimist, you will say it's half full. There are so many good things today in India. We have survived as a democracy. We did not break up. Soviet Union broke up into 16 countries. For long years they used to say there's no inflation in Soviet Union, there's no poverty in Soviet Union, there's no unemployment in Soviet Union. Now there's no Soviet Union. But Yugoslavia broke into 4, Indonesia broke into 2, Pakistan broke into 2, and if I get the defense ministry, they'll break into 4. So therefore, this country has not broken. Everyone predicted that India will break into 20 countries. It's not broken. In fact, we are firm and together with all these things that we see. The only irritant is, of course, Kashmir, and that's because Jawaharlal Nehru went to the United Nations and created unnecessarily a international dispute. But even that you will see very soon. Kashmir will settle down once we take a few actions towards the end of this year. So I am saying that let's also look at the state of the nation from a positive side. We are still a democracy. So many countries have given up democracy, we have not. The largest democracy. The electorate is mind-boggling. And the whole world, there's admiration for it. We have a judicial system which can speak against the government. And this democratic spirit we have proved. During the emergency, democracy went away. But our people fought. Mrs. Gandhi thought that our silence is her acceptance. She held an election thinking she'll win. And at the time the elections were declared, I was abroad campaigning against it. I had escaped with the, despite Mrs. Gandhi's arrest warrant and Interpol notice and all that. And they used to tell me, now elections declared, please don't go back to India, stay at Harvard and start teaching, because Indira Gandhi is bound to win. Why? Because it's a poor country. What do poor people know? Poor, uneducated people won't understand democracy, and she will benefit by that. Only the educated people understand. When the results came out in India, I found North India, which is poorer, and more uneducated, they completely wiped out Mrs. Gandhi's party, including defeating her. Whereas the South India, full of educated people like you and me, they voted for Indira Gandhi. The exact opposite of what people told me. So therefore the Indian masses are not, for democracy on the basis of educated, not educated, poor. This is a great tribute. And now nobody will mess with our democracy because of that. Today there is one more thing. That we have a ruling party which is not run by one family. Nobody can say that BJP is run by Narendra Modi's family because he has no family at all. And it is not, the decision making is not by one person. What happened in Uttar Pradesh? Do you think the decision for making Aditya Nath was taken by one person who said he should be? It was a collective, there was discussion, there were names which came up, rejected, and finally a name was selected. So you have today a party structure like that. Yes, it is true that our economy could do better. Well, the potential of Indian economy is enormous. I am telling you, by 2025, India will overtake China completely. And we will be a challenge to America, because America's strength is innovation, like internet, jet engines, fax machines, you see, cell phones. All these innovations has brought America up. But that kind of innovation we can do. That's why Trump says, once an Indian comes to America and gets educated here, don't let him go back, because you go back to India and become a challenge to us. So you better, if you want to come to India, you better come quick, because Trump won't let you after come. So this quality of being able to innovate is what drives economic growth. And it's only a matter of time before, because we have had to come out of a transition of 1,000 years of loot and robbery of this country, then brainwashing by the British with all kinds of bogus history, and creating an inferiority complex in our people. And today India is getting liberated. The younger generation is highly educated, they go around the world, they have now a sense of confidence, and it's a question only of time before we become a world power once again. We were a world power once, and we will be a world power again. Our challenge will be, our competition will be not with China, but with the United States, and by 2050 should be all together. The most important thing for us today is become one people in mind. This division of caste, region, language, etc., this must go. And we have now science to tell us that we are one people. All our people have the same DNA. This is what the Journal of Genetics is publishing, research after research. All say the same thing. North Indian, South Indian, East Indian, West Indian have the same DNA. Brahmins and scheduled caste have the same DNA. Hindus and Muslims also have the same DNA. Sometimes Muslims get angry with me. I say, listen, science says that you have the same DNA as me. That means your ancestors and my ancestors are the same. That's what it means. That means you are originally descended from Hindus. Why can't you accept that? You are not descended from Gori and Ghazni. And if you accept that you are also the same, have the same ancestors as me, then we become one family. Everybody else is trying to separate them. But today I'll say all these divisions of caste are never based on birth. That was an artificial, that was based on division of labor. Those who preferred to give up everything in life and concentrate on knowledge were called Brahmins. And you can be born in a non-Brahmin family and still become a Brahmin, like Vishwamitra became, born in a Kshatriya family, became Maharishi, and in fact become Rishi of Rishis. So Ved Vyasa, who wrote the Mahabharata, was born of a fisherwoman. So therefore this oneness of the Indian, that is holding us back, and that must go. And if we educate everybody equally, then you will be, according to your ability, you will be able to come up. Dr. Ambedkar was educated in Columbia University with a PhD in economics. In London he got a law degree, and he came back and wrote the constitution. He drafted the constitution. He was a scheduled caste. Now Jawaharlal Nehru, he went to Cambridge and failed the exam there. In fact, all Nehrus have failed the exams there. But he is called a Brahmin. That is not the concept originally. Ambedkar, you can say, qualifies to be a Brahmin. And Jawaharlal Nehru, probably an Englishman or something like that, some other classification. So this oneness spirit to develop is why we've got this Virat Hindustan Sangam. And we should slowly begin to accept that we are one people. And if that happens, the state of the nation will be that it will be the world's most developed country. Thank you very much.
Friends, we would like to take a few questions from you, but Dr. Swamy has got to rush back to the airport. He came all the way from Delhi just to attend this function, to meet all of you. There's a rush back. Tomorrow there's a meeting with the Prime Minister. There's a Supreme Court matter. Sorry, breakfast. Okay. Chai pe charcha. Dr. Swamy, Sri Iyer, Dr. Sankhe, who heads the Maharashtra unit of the Virat Hindu Sangam, Venkatesh, Sri, Avisha, Jagdish, and all of you wonderful friends for making a grand success of this function. I thank the management of Indian Merchant Chamber and his persons in charge of the venue department, the Mumbai police for the excellent security they have provided, and well, just about everybody who made a success of the program. We propose to have more such programs. We appeal to all of you to come together, become part of Desh Bhakti Andolan. It's not a political party. We are trying to occupy a civil society space on a patriotic platform. We have strong views on Kashmir. We have strong views on so many other issues, because unless you call a spade, nothing will work. Thank you so much. Shabba khair. Good night.
आंदोलन में बहुत दिक्कत होती है। देखो भीड़ से सेल्फी